This video is about how Albion Online's recent patch, June 30th, has made the gear grind, the gear leveling, and crafting almost entirely obsolete and pointless for solo players. And yes, I will be explaining myself, but for people that don't play in guilds or groups or do PvP in full loot zones, there's nothing to chase in the game anymore. There is nothing to really do. There's no reason to do it, honestly. And we're going to talk about the whole thing. So, in order to educate you on why it's obsolete, let's talk about first, how is leveling and good gear obsolete? So, in the old version of the game, there was no item power soft cap. So, whenever a player would start playing the game, one of the reasons that they would continue to play the game is to not only get the best, strongest items possible, so that they could deal more damage, but also so that they could flex on people who did not do the same thing. Most people that play MMORPGs by themselves or don't have friends, or they play an MMORPG because they can sink a lot of time into the game, and instead of honestly getting really good at the game, like say, if you spent a whole lot of time practicing Fortnite and you could build walls really good and you can tower up on people and you're good at headshotting and switching to the shotgun and to the SMG and stuff, you're going to kill more people in Fortnite than you're going to be killed by. And that's going to increase your enjoyment of the game by a massive, massive amount. Now, in MMORPGs, a lot of people, they play it because they don't really want to put in the effort to get good, or they're older. Because MMORPGs have an older crowd, believe it or not, despite Albion being maybe labeled as a kid's game due to it being a phone game. But essentially, a lot of people put time and effort into getting the best possible gear and leveling that gear as high as possible so that their number goes up. You can see right now, for those that haven't played this game in a while, my character has 4,021 HP. I have full 8.4 gear, and whenever I slam into an enemy with these spells and use these abilities, I will just one-shot them in a save zone. Like, if a player or a mob, it doesn't matter. However, due to item power soft caps in all save zones in the entire game, my power is now limited down, and now my HP is 2,674. You can see that my item power has been nerfed by 741. So that's like 7 tiers or 7 enchantment levels, or, you know, if I had technically had 200 specialization, it'd be somewhere around that. It's a ridiculous amount of nerfing gear. However, I still have a bit of a boost of power that I can go and fight people with, but I can't go and fight an army of people. And, you know, to a lot of people, and I even agree that, you know, one player shouldn't be able to take on 40 players regardless of how strong they are, but, you know, it does make... The point that I'm getting at isn't if you should or shouldn't. That's not what this video is about. I've already talked about that in a separate video. What I'm talking about is that it's obsolete. There is no point for anyone ever that plays in save zones to get this kind of gear ever. There's no reason for a player to max out their Destiny board and level all the weapons to 100 so that they get as much power as possible and level up the weapons to 120 to give them as much item power as possible when they're just doing save zone content. So while that could be good for some because it lets new players get into farming content just as fast and on equal terms of a geared or veteran player, it doesn't keep people around. They're going to go play something else. They're going to find another game that, quote-unquote, respects their time, and they don't feel like it's a betrayal of investment. So, for instance, this set I'm wearing, the estimated market value is 254 million silver. Now, that's quite a lot. That is, as a veteran player, I would have to gather 254 hours to make that amount of money, and a new player would have to gather over 1,000 hours. A new player starting today would have to play this game 1,000 hours gathering to just get this one gear set. And it would take several months of them grinding casually, in the old world that is, to level everything up to where it is. They would also need money to push to the 120 level, and it's not something that people can normally do, but it keeps them invested, it keeps them playing, and once they've achieved this level of power, they feel accomplished, and then they can go and actually, quote-unquote, play the game. Have you ever, heard the phrase, like in World of Warcraft or any other MMORPG, oh, now that you're level 60, you can get your pre-bis raid gear, you can go do raids for 6 months on end, and now that you have your raid set, you can finally enjoy the game. People that play MMORPGs, that is their mindset, and there is truth to those words. And some people are gonna quote, oh, it's not about the destination, it's the journey. It's about the journey, bro. You should enjoy the journey. No, not really. Especially when the journey leads you to a destination where all your items are nerfed and worthless. So there's that. But essentially, if I want to do anything in a save zone, I can literally make a new character and have a very close similar power level to my current character I've sunk over 5 years into in just a few days. And a lot of people like this. I think this is fine. However, it makes leveling obsolete. So when people learn this, and when people realize this, instead of playing the game for 5+ years like I have, they will play it for a few weeks and realize that any more progress that they're making is pointless to them, because if they're never going to engage in full loot PvP, then there's no reason for them to continue pushing their character forwards, right? And I know people out there are going to say, well, this is a full loot PvP game. This is a PvP game. There are other better PvE games out there. And I'm like, well, what? Old school RuneScape? They came out in 2003 or something? I don't know how old it is. It's pretty damn old. What's another PvE game? What's a good PvE game? I always ask these people that parrot this narrative. They're like, well, there's better PvE games out there. What, like Palia? No. What's a good PvE game? Tell me. I want you to tell me. What is a better PvE game that isn't too old, and I can utilize the PvE aspect of the game if I ever wanted to do PvP? The greatest and best thing about Albion is that I can go chop trees in a save zone for years and buy a really good set of gear, and then I can go out and beat people up with it. I can go out and kill people in the full loot zones with it. I can take this set right now and kill people if I want to. Now, obviously, someone who's really good at the game, or has friends and gangs up on me, or gets lucky and finds me at low HP with a set of gear that may cost them 30,000 silver, and they just push a few buttons and then I die, I would lose all this stuff. So obviously, risk versus reward on my part, it's not worth me spending 250 million to go fight people that are less geared in the off chance that I get an unlucky moment and lose everything. I will never do that. Now, what I will do is take the same set and buy a cheaper version of that set, which is like right here, and, put that on instead. So I can just, equip this stuff real quick, and let's see how much it costs me. And, yeah. So without the mount and without the food, here, let's grab just like one potion there, okay? And let's see how much cost savings that I can technically do. And the food, where's the food at? There it is. We'll split one, put it on. All right. And then, just like a regular stag mount. So how much is this set worth? All right, this set's worth 1.7 million. I'm okay if I go out and die in this set. This set's totally fine, right? Like, full loot PvP in this set, I'm not hurting too bad if I die in it. And to be fair, I didn't pay 1.7 million for this stuff. I paid maybe 600,000 at most, because I'm either crafting most of this stuff, or I'm buy ordering it insanely cheap, or getting it through other means. Anyway, but the point is that yes, in a full loot situation, this gear is no longer obsolete, because I retain this amount of HP and this amount of power. All right, and also this is not the potion I would use for this set at all, not even close. I would be using acid potions. But anyway, the point is that for a casual solo player who has figured out that this game is not fair or fun for full loot PvP and will never engage in full loot PvP, and I know the game devs made this change in the hopes that more people would engage in full loot PvP, but the numbers are showing that's not the case. The Black Zone activity has not increased. The more people entering Black Zone or anything has not increased. If anything, this patch actually it decreased. All the people that normally PvP in Black Zones are enjoying the safe the safe orange zones instead, because the rewards are just too damn good, and you can find fast fights for that fast dopamine hit. And because that part of the game is item power capped, just like every other save zone, it's a very low barrier of entry to get into PvP for this game. So That's what most people are doing at the moment. Things may change down the line, but essentially what it's telling new players, or even, you know, semi-new players, people who've been playing a few months, hey, a little reward. You can go ahead and just claim one of those. There we go, 500 gold. Nice. I've got 7 more here I can claim too. But anyway, the point is that there's no reason, there is no reason for any sane person to max out their Destiny board in combat skills. I'm setting, look, I'll move my text. I'm setting on 234 million combat fame credits. This means that I can max out 14 weapon nodes. That means I can take, like, the Holy Staff weapon line, even though I've got some levels and stuff. I can just max this out. I can just max it out, and then if I wanted, I could, like, max out Frost Staffs. Well, I don't want to, because I'm not going to use those weapon lines for anything as a solo player, really. Maybe one day when they patch and change things or release new weapons, sure. But there's no real point for me to level them up anymore. And let me give an example, right? Because let's say I just want to do Orange Zone content, and because there's an item power cap, like, I can just put on this Sky Strider bow here, and just by wearing the bow for 2 hours, we'll level it to 50. But that doesn't even really help me in the Orange Zone, because as long as I have a 4.4 Sky Strider bow, which is right here, this is a 4.4 Sky Strider bow, I don't get any strong. I get a tiny bit amount of stronger, sure, but it's not enough to make a difference in a fight. It's not enough to make a difference in how fast I can fame farm. It's so negligible that there's no point in even leveling it at all. And what that does too is, because there's no point in leveling it means that the satchel, there's no reason to have this turned on ever again. Don't need to turn that on. Also, auto respec, another big silver sink. I can just turn that off. I don't need these things, right? I just like to watch the number go up, so obviously I'm going to leave them on. But yeah, there's no point in leveling gear or even getting better gear. 4.4 Sky Strider bow. If you want to do Orange Zone, you awaken it with maximum HP. And if you wanted to fame farm, you get an Astral Staff with maximum HP and Mob Fame. Mob Fame is not nerfed in the Orange Zones. I can take this stick out, and I can in one spell rotation kill all the mobs. Like, I can pull 7 to 12 mobs at a time, blow them all up. Eventually, a group of 3 will come and murder me. I'll get a 40k repair bill. I'll go back in and continue fame farming nonstop forever, endlessly, with 0 risk. And there's, you know, back in the day, if you wanted to really maximize how fast you could fame farm, you had to have the best possible gear, and you had to have the best gear that could kill mobs insanely fast, alright? So, back in the day, way back in the day, early 2019-2020, when the item power soft cap was removed from yellow zones, the only and best fame farm at the time, believe it or not, was solo dungeons. Alright, open world mobs did not give bonus fame that they do today. And so, if you wanted to min-max how fast you could fame farm, you had to have a solo dungeon nuking set. Enter the light crossbow, enter the Spectre Jacket, you know, and so on. There's so many different solo dungeon builds, but really Spectre Jacket in Tier 5 yellow zones was the way to go. Alright, and there was no Tier 6 yellow zones, those did not exist. And then, you know, they introduced the open world, you know, fame farming instead. That became the new best way to fame farm. And then you would have also soloing static dungeons. So, you know, enter the Shadow Caller, being one of the best weapons in the game to farm static solo. They nerfed that. Okay, that's fine. They nerfed it. Enter the Astral Staff. All right, this is where we're at today. All right, and maybe they will change things in the future, and it'll be a different weapon and a different set of gear. Sure. But as long as there is an item power cap, there's no reason to get the 8.4 version. There's no reason to have your entire Destiny board decked out to the nines, you know, with everything maxed out, because the bonus you get is so minimal that it's just a waste of all of that time, silver, and investment. And what this means in the long run of the game, people will log into the game and use it as like a party game. They'll log into the game when they're bored or there's nothing else to play, and they'll run some Orange Zone dungeons or whatever, and then like, okay, cool. And then they'll log off and go play their main game. You know, their main game is currently under maintenance. They'll log into Albion for like 20 to 30 minutes. They'll play for a little bit, and then they'll log off. Instead of playing the game for 12 to 16 hours a day, grinding it out so that they can finally enjoy the game, they don't need to level up anymore. They don't need to invest in good gear anymore. The game basically said, hey, just get this minimal gear and you're good to go. You know, leveling up or progressing any point beyond this gives you nothing. It does not make you, it does not reward you in any way. And that's the point. It's no longer rewarding to grind out maximum levels and get better gear. And I know there's people like, well, yeah, if you want to, you know, it is beneficial in full loot zones. Yes, it is, absolutely. If you have maximum level specializations and you have high tier gear, you have an advantage in PvP over people that did not do the grind. You absolutely have an advantage. And that's fine, that's fine. But since only 8% of the game's population interfaces with the full loot PvP, well, only 8% of players are going to grind 12 to 16 hours a day doing that. And most PvPers that I've talked to, I only know like maybe 2 or 3 people that actually grinded it out. Most PvPers, like a lot of the really good, like the top PvPers don't even have max destiny boards or crafting level. We'll talk about crafting in a bit. They don't even have like ways to make silver. They don't have gathering leveled at all. They've never done it. They find it boring. They just play this game like League of Legends. They go get a set and they go kill people and they upgrade their set until they have unfortunate circumstances that get them killed, all right? And then they just go to the next thing, or they, you know, go to the next build, and so on and so forth. And most of these PvPers, they play with groups of friends. They're not by themselves. There's a few that'll roam around by themselves in the mist or something, and all they're doing is chasing like a kill board. They're not really doing it for profit. They're not doing it to level up their character. They're just doing it because it's the only thing that they find not entirely super boring, and, you know, that's essentially it. The people interfacing with PvP in this game aren't even the people maxing out their Destiny boards and getting the best possible gear while setting up their character to make as much silver as possible. And the second thing that this patch has done, and I'm not entirely going to be transparent with this one, crafting. So crafting in Albion Online, the way it's always worked up until now due to learning point changes and some journal changes. I'm going to be very vague here. Essentially, in the old days, for solo players, one of the two best things you could max out was either cooking. You max out your cooking, or you max out potion crafting. Potion crafting cost about 4 to 5 times more to max out, and the profits were almost equal to, or maybe sometimes slightly better based on the market's economy. And cooking in general is something that the cartel has never controlled. Also, just a random side note, I looked at a Reddit thread from a cartel member who was boasting about his earnings, and the dude was like, yeah, the cartel, like, it doesn't exist. It's just a bunch of people collaborating and, like, making money, like, in a joint effort. No, it isn't. It is literally not. It is a bunch of sweatlords in a Discord controlling the markets, and if you don't bend the knee, they basically use their spreadsheet knowledge to empty out your shop, and you don't make a profit. They will empty out the food and the durability as cost-effectively as they can so that you lose money. So you can't just buy a shop. You can't buy a player shop in a town and set it to a lower price, because if it's set to a lower price, that means they're going to make a profit off of you, and the cost of running the shop and feeding the shop is going to cost you more than what they are paying you to craft at your station. That is just the end-all, be-all, and simple as. And because they have hundreds of trillions of silver, and they also have infinite silver sources, because most of them are wealthy in real life, and they will card swipe you out of business. They will literally, like one of the cartel members on West he's a multimillionaire in real life. You cannot bankrupt him. He will just swipe and swipe and swipe until you are broke in the game. And West, it's the same thing. You'll see these Reddit threads of these cartel members pretending, oh no, they're cool, you know, it's just a group of players working together, everything's chill. No, that's their front. That's a front. Don't believe their lies. Anyway, crafting is mostly obsolete in this patch. Now, for solo guildless players, crafting has, for gear, like, you know, boots, armor, weapons, offhands, bags, most of the time bags, capes, stuff like that, you know, crafting, gathering tools. These things have almost always been obsolete for solo players because they require a black zone hideout to really, really maximize. Whereas cooking food, really the only way you get a good bonus for cooking food, like to really min-max and penny pinch, has always been you need an Avalonian Roads hideout, but those are such a pain to transport to towns that no Like, the cartel just doesn't care about food. I'm just going to tell you right now. The cartel does not try to control food. It is one of the only free markets left in the game. And so what you would do is you would max out cooking over the course of 8 months to a year, or if you're a card swiper, you would just spend 111 million silver and have it maxed out so that every day you can print anywhere from 2 to 6 million silver casually, or anywhere from around 300 million silver a month. Okay, yes, max level chefs can make 300 million silver a month or more if they are spreadsheeting, if they are transporting, if they are buy ordering, if they are growing their own stuff. There's so many ways that max level chefs can benefit. And even if you're a fisherman, chef is the way to go as well. All right, it's literally the solo players crafting like niche that you should be in. Everyone should be in it. However, after the patch, people have not caught on to this yet. Me and my channel members have caught on to this, but after the patch, cooking is almost entirely pointless to level up because there's a better way to craft with cooking. And I'm not going to tell you how. I've told my channel members how, and that's how it will remain. But essentially, you're just better off not wasting a bunch of resources leveling cooking anymore because there is a more free way to do it. That's all I'm going to say there. But what this means is that, developing your character and spending silver and leveling up over time and watching your character grow and become better at something and eventually getting so good at something that it benefits you as the player is gone. It is gone. And while, yes, you currently, with the way the market is, currently, as of this recording, if you were to level up cooking, you would still profit. Yes, you would still profit, but as soon as it catches on, as soon as the new meta catches on, it's literally over. It's literally over, and cooking will be a flat-lined. If you cook without using focus, you are going to be cooking at a loss. Now, there is extenuating circumstances to this. That if not enough people cook using the new method, then yeah, the market will never adjust. It will never adjust. However, I feel like once more and more people figure out how to do this, because it's literally free silver that you could print out of nothing, more and more people are going to do it to the point where no one can really profit from it anymore, because the people doing it have to do it to feed their stations, they have to do it to feed their guilds, they have to do it to continue their market domination. And if anything, the cartel would do it just to make everyone else more poor. And good thing they haven't made it a focus yet. Either they're too busy making bigger, more amounts of money in more important ways, or they just haven't got enough spite in them to really hunker down and trash the markets, okay? Now, does this apply to potion crafting? A little bit. It's a little bit harder to ruin the potion crafting market, especially since all of the best potions are tier 8, and there's not really a free way to reach those, in a way, kind of, sort of, with the way the market is. I'm going to say it right there, okay? So, unless you join a Black Zone guild, which means you are no longer a solo guildless player, and this video doesn't apply to you. Yeah, you go join a guild, all your levels, all your effort, all your leveling up is now at the benefit of some guild master milking you for content. Sure, absolutely. But for a solo guildless player that just wants to log in and do his own thing for 20 minutes to a few hours a day, there's no reason to craft anymore. There's no reason to level up your character anymore. And there's no reason to do, like, the majority of the content. Oh, I want to fame farm and watch the number go up. Okay, Orange Zone. Like, that's it. Not corrupted dungeons, not open world mobs, not open world Black Zone solo mobs. Orange Zone dungeons. Maybe they'll nerf the fame. I don't know. On the test server, when the Orange Zone first got introduced, the fame values were at a half of what they currently are today. And for a solo player, that was still the best fame farm. It was still the best fame farm. The Orange Zone values are so high, it nearly matches what we were making soloing static Blue Zone dungeons, but without the need for a full 8.4 set and a year's worth of investment. So the barrier of entry to min-max your fame is so low in this game that it's really never been a better time for new players to level up if they want to do like PvP. So maybe that's the company's reasoning for it. But since only 8% interface with full loot PvP. There's no reason for players to grind. You just buy a 4.4 weapon and you're set. You don't have to level up at all. You can enjoy the content, and leveling up doesn't benefit you at all. It just doesn't. There's no reason to do it. So yeah, that's my take, guys. And I feel like it's going to harm the game in the long run, because now us save zone players, our investments aren't worth investing in. If I was to start playing Albion Online today with, like, imagine, I get isekai'd. I became a different person in real life, and I had to start brand new with nothing and no card swiping on Albion as a brand new guildless solo player, but I know everything that I know now. I would never chase 8.4. I would never level up stuff to 120 ever. There would be no point. Things would naturally level to 100, and I would probably get bored. I would be like, okay, I leveled up the Astral Staff. Let's go level up the Sky Strider bow. But what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't be like, hey, I want to make my Astral Staff even stronger. So now I need to level the Arcane Staff. I need to level the Great Arcane, the Enigmatic, the Witchwork. I wouldn't level any of these other weapons. There would be no reason to. Why? They're slower than the Astral Staff, and leveling them up isn't making my Astral Staff stronger in save zones. I also wouldn't even bother having alt characters that had cooking maxed out. I have a chef character that maxed out cooking, right? I would have no reason to do this other than just to say I did it or to have it for a collection, okay? And and I would still make just as much silver per hour as I do now with a fully established 5-year-old veteran character. I would still, earn the same amount of fame that I do. You know, if I was to race myself, if I was to take my Swolbigi character, clone myself in real life, and play a new account, they would make almost the exact same fame per hour and silver per hour. They absolutely would. But because crafting is, like, the current meta for crafting is kind of free right now, that means there's no point in gathering. Yes, leveling gathering might be worth it if the markets bottom out. Absolutely. Still get your gathering to tier 8. You can gather in save zones. People are saying, oh, well, that's been nerfed. Yes, skinning was nerfed. If I go skin, I can't one-shot mobs with my 8.4 Skinner's Garb. But I can still just use an Astral Staff and kill everything in one spell. It just slowed the kill time a little bit. It's still worth doing. They still drop babies. None of that was nerfed, okay, guys? But there's better ways to make silver. There's faster ways to make silver. There's freer ways to make silver. I can make 15 million silver an hour. I can literally make 15 million silver an hour. I've never, ever been able to gather that amount of silver per hour. Even if I was on a test server by myself with the best gathering gear in the game, and I went to a fully enchanted area all to myself, I would not make 15 million silver an hour. But now, I don't even have to play the game anymore, and I can make 15 million silver an hour. And channel members have started to get little samplings of how to do this. I've mostly laid the groundwork out for them. I haven't given them an exact, okay, do this, do that, you do this, do that. But I've given them the blueprints, so to speak. So that means there's no reason to gather anymore. There's no reason to level gathering anymore. And here's the thing, too. If you're making 15 million silver per hour, you just buy fame tomes. Do you guys want to know the real reason why fame tomes are so expensive right now? It's not because streamers on this Crucible challenge are buying them out. It's not because Nizori is trying to feed Quinn69 and his entire guild to win a contest. Let's look. Tome of Insight, okay? 32,000 silver. These things honestly are worth about anything more than 12,000 silver. You're wasting your silver. Go use a satchel. Go use auto respec, okay? But you can see, like, there's buy orders for 30k. You want to know why? Because the way to make silver has blown up so hard and so fast that Tomes of Insight have always been a massive and free investment. If you want to level up an alt character and you don't want to do the grind, if you want to do... Basically, it's an item that will always sell at a high value or a current value to the market. So if gold and silver go up, Tomes of Insight go up. It's really that simple. And yes, there are people that are out here making 15 million silver an hour, myself included. However, I'm already super wealthy and rich. I have literally billions of silver. I don't need to do it. But as a new player, I can join Europe. I can go play on Europe, and in a week, I can have hundreds of millions of silver. I can I can go to Europe and I can go play and I can earn enough silver to have premium in 2 hours. I can buy premium in just 2 hours of playing the game. That was only possible back when silver was worth 3 million silver and solo Yellow Zone dungeons earned 1 to 2 million an hour, okay? I want you to put that into perspective. Just how obsolete grinding in this game has become. If I can do that on a brand new account, on a brand new character, so can anyone. They just need to know how to do it. And it's killed the game. It has completely killed the reason of playing the game. You're like, Soul Benji, if you're making 15 million an hour, why don't you just buy all the 8.4s? I already have. You know, Soul Benji, I thought you were selling your 8.4s. No one offered me enough. I'm not going to get lowballed only to buy them all back. Okay. So yeah. But essentially, the 8.4 items are pointless. Grinding your levels to 100 or even 120 is pointless. You don't need it. There's item power soft caps. All right. But Soul Benji, with all this money, Soul Benji, you can go PvP now. You have infinite money. You can go PvP. And what, die? And give my money away to people who don't deserve it? Whenever I'm out in a black zone and like I get killed by 20 people, they should not deserve my money. So I just don't do it. And here's the thing too. Because I can earn 15 million silver an hour, there is no point to even PvP. The whole point, in my opinion, and like, I don't find PvP fun in this game. I just don't find it fun. If I want a PvP, I'll go play a real PvP game, like OSRS or World of Warcraft, or literally anything else. I think Albion's PvP is pretty bad. It's not the worst, okay? It's not Tibia levels, but it's pretty bad. However, the whole point for me to ever interface or engage with PvP would be to make silver. But because I can make more silver almost entirely AFK at this point, there's no reason to ever PvP. And at the same time, PvP is a group activity. If you're in the black zone and you're by yourself, you're a victim. You are a prey animal. Do you play Dead by Daylight and you pick Survivor by yourself without a bunch of friends? If you're playing Dead by Daylight by yourself without friends in a Discord, what are you doing? Play Killer. Go play Killer. That's what you're supposed to play in that game. All right? And when you play Killer, you make sure that you're not facing a pre-team by looking for those little party icons that pop up whenever they join your lobby. You just leave and rejoin until you get a group of solos, because that's the only fair and fun way to play that damn game, okay? Because when they're, yapping in a Discord, they're basically cheating. They're cheating the game. They're basically using what would essentially in that situation be telekinesis to speak to each other, right? And, Soul Benji, what about Bandit Assault? Look, it just popped up, right? What about Bandit Assault? Okay, you join your faction's Discord server, and then they force you to wear, like, 8.1, and they ball up, and they shot call it, and then you win some faction points. So what is the point of doing Bandit Assault to get faction points whenever you don't need the fame from the tomes anymore, and you don't need the faction points for the rewards, because you could just make more elsewhere? Like, just attending a bandit event, there's no reason to do it. There's no reason to do it other than fun. Do you find it fun to sit in a Discord with like 100 people yelling at each other in 4 different languages? I don't. I honestly don't. I don't think it's fun at all. But I'm not trying to discourage people from doing ZVZs and stuff, but what I am trying to say is that the current balance of the game, the current patch of the game, has made so many activities obsolete for the efficiency gamer, for the min-max gamer. Like, imagine, if you played World of Warcraft and you never had a reason to level to 60, you never had a reason to do raids to get end-game gear, you never had a reason to do quests or even make money or gather in that game, what would you be doing in World of Warcraft? Sitting around town, role-playing that you're a single night elf, looking for fun? I don't know what you would do. But because World of Warcraft is a more intricate and better graphic game, I could understand why people would do that, why they would roleplay, to get their rocks off. But in Albion, look at it. Look at it, dude. It's this is a brown circle. All right. Okay? Like, oh wow, fireball, laser beam. Dashing fire attack, running fire exploding attack. Wow, that's a lot of roleplay potential, you guys. It's a lot of roleplay potential, but there's no reason to grind in this game anymore. So if anything, this game has become hyper casual. There's no chase anymore. There's nothing for players like me, and 92% of the player base to work towards doing. There's nothing. There is nothing to work towards. Yes, you have the occasional person that's obsessed with making silver, and they will never stop, even though they have 100 billion silver. They continue to log in for 12 hours a day so that they can make another 100 billion silver the next year. Why? You have enough silver. You don't need any more. There's nothing in the game to buy with the silver. If there was like a cool skin that like lets you throw out money, right? Which there is. I'm using it right now. Yeah, go invest a whole bunch of money to unlock that skin. Sure, absolutely. And then once you have those, then what? There's no super rare expensive skins. Like this skin right here to like summon a ghost that flips around with a stick and sword and punches people and kicks them and does flying kicks. This doesn't cost a lot of money to unlock. But if this skin costs, say, 1 billion silver, there are people that would buy it. And then that skin would actually mean something. And the game lacks that. The game lacks fun things to do with your silver. You know that one of those Final Fantasy MMOs, I don't play it, but why not have an Albion Online collectible card game where if you randomly kill mobs in a dungeon or open world or wherever, they have a chance to drop a collectible card. And then in town, you can sit down at a table and have a card game fight with another player where you can wager silver or items or something, or wager the cards. Well, now suddenly rich players like me who have nothing left to chase in the game because safe zones don't give you a reason to chase, well, we would go to the market and we would be buying, +9 Morgana witches to to fill our deck with. I'd run like a Morgana deck or something, and then I would get those like +9 attack power Morgana Raven summoning ladies or something, right? And then another guy, instead of interfacing with like the PvP of the game, he might go out and farm, group dungeons or something just to get his hands on a rare Earth Mommy card, like an Earth Daughter card that would stun all my cards for a turn or something. I don't know. There needs to be more fun stuff to do in the game to spend money on, but currently, as of this patch, there just isn't, and there's no reason to level anything, which means for people that just want to chase progression and watch number go up, there's nothing left. But that's the video. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know what fun things should be added to the game. Let me know what interesting things that people could spend money on. And what can the company do besides removing the item power cap? What can they do? Honestly, what can they do besides removing the item power cap to give Save Zone players a chase? To give them a reason to log in every day and grind. I don't know what that reason would be, but maybe you have a good idea. And the last AMA, or the last Ask the Devs live stream, literally everyone was spamming the chat about item power soft caps, and they never answered the questions. It was all planted questions from game masters pretending to be normal people, like L Forward. L Forward is a game master. All right, Nizori is a game master pretending to be a streamer. So is Bogle and all of them. They're all employees of the freaking game, okay? They're all employees, all right? And, like Robin Hooders is a game master. Okay, why is he a game master when he stole from guilds? He literally would join guilds and steal all their stuff, and now he works for the company. Like, wow, that's I wouldn't hire someone that steals, even virtually. Jesus. But the point is, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I know this is just a rant video, but there's literally nothing to make. There is literally nothing to do in this game other than play something else. I've been playing the Persona X gacha game. It's all right. It's got gameplay. It's got a reason to play. It's pretty fun. I know that people are mad at it because they're not getting as much gacha rewards as in Japan or China. But I don't play gacha games to, like, card swipe. I don't care about pulling Le Epic character and dealing Le Epic big damage. I just play it because it's something to play. Anyway, if you want me to make Persona X videos, let me know. Become a channel member and learn the secrets to crafting and flipping mainly, too. And you can make 15 million silver an hour as well. Mwah! And click the video on the right side of your screen. If you don't, your left foot is going to get gout, and it's going to hurt, and you can't walk on it, which means you can't go do your cardio, and you can't go shopping, and you're going to get the fever chills, and it's going to suck, okay?